For this video, we're going to revise our study today at school. It's Romance, traditional classical piece, something like this. Etc, etc. But we're going to break it down and we're going to show you how to play it. And I'm playing a sort of traditional, more conventional nylon string guitar. You can hear the sound. You'll also notice I'm using one finger as well. We'll debate about that later. But for those that have got an acoustic steel string, it's also going to sound pretty cool. It should sound like this. And steel string, cutaway, a bit easier access. Strings are very different. And your tone is now going to sound like this. And personally, I prefer the steel string, sorry to the purists, but for those that want to be traditional, nylon string's the way to go, and if you'd like doing it in a normal steel string, whatever you think sounds cool. Now enough about that, let's learn to play Romance. Now I'm going to sit and focus first of all on the picking hand, so you're going to focus that direction over here, so you want to get a bit more up close and personal. And we're back again to the nylon string guitar. You'll notice that for this sort of basic approach to finger style for classical guitar is let your thumb play strings 6, 5 or 4 as they are needed. With the rest of your fingers, finger 1, finger 2 being the middle and ring finger being 3, you want to play your third string with the first finger, your middle finger is going to play the second string and your ring finger the first. Now your pinky literally hangs around, or it can even rest on the body, which is not quite correct classical technique, but it also will work for you. Now with the basic picking for this, I'm going to start with my first finger at fret number 7, that's fret number 7 on the first string, and listen to the first bar. I'm going to take it really slow motion. Now you'll notice a reoccurring triplet or 3 notes per beat. I'm going to count with it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now on the picking pattern closely, I'm starting the first group of 3 by plucking my thumb on the bass note and the ring finger on the first string, so playing both together. After that I pluck the second string and the third string, so super slow motion. 1, 2, 3. Now I wouldn't want to have my hand this wide open normally when I'm playing. I just did it to show you the strings and the fingers. Your correct technique should be like this. Okay, now the other 2 triplets, so once you've done the first triplet, 1, 2, 3, the remaining 2 groups of 3 are simply string 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 again. So this particular piece basically has got 3 beats per bar, of which each beat has 3 notes. First beat, second beat, third beat. So again, 1, 2, 3. And if you're counting inside each one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And just a different angle again, so you can see the picking a bit more clearer perhaps. You can see the hand from this angle, 1. And try and keep your palm over here sort of quite in a set position. Be careful not to have your hand do this. Try and keep your palm sort of fixed and the fingers do the work. And be careful not to do this. This creates almost like a claw-like position, so we don't want that. We want more of a bent wrist. Okay, we got the technique under wraps. I'm sure now you can play this. And now we're on to what does our fretting hand do. Now I've swapped guitars as well because I know a lot of the players that they do have steel strings or even electric guitars. Folks, if you've got an electric, do this on the electric guitar. I'll demonstrate it now with a bit of chorus. It sounds stunning. Okay, but enough of that. Let's first get the numbers going. Now, you've got the tab for Romance in front of you. I hope it's printed out. I'm going to use my ring finger. You can use your first finger. I don't really mind. And it's going 7, 7, 7. That's for your first bar. 1, 2, 3. And the second bar goes 7, 5, 3. Now with this here, you can go 7, 5, 3 like that. In other words, different finger combinations, or you can even use everything on the first finger. 7, 5, 3. I'm not that worried about this. Okay, now your second bar with the picking technique should go slow motion like this. 7, 5, 3. And if I sit and put the two bars together, first and second bar, and I'm going to zoom out a bit to show you both picking hand and fretting hand, we'd have something like this. I'm going to count to 3 so you can join me if you want to. 1, 2, 3. So very little hand movement. And what I like about the steel string guitar and the electric guitars, they've got these little dots in the front. You can see there's a dot there and there's a dot here and a dot there. It just helps me count the frets, which is actually quite cool as well. Now onto the next bar is going to be 3, 2, 0. And the 0 means open. So your third bar is going to go from the 3 onto the 2 and onto the open. And remember, we need to observe that the very first beat, the very first note is always a combination of the 6th string for the first few bars and the first string at whichever fret they're doing. So every time you count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Every time I count out that loud 1, it's both strings and the rest are just like that. Okay, I'm going to switch again to the nylon string guitar just so we can hear the different tonalities, so you can hear for yourself how the different guitars sound. Now for the absolute purists, the classical trained guitarists, we should actually have your guitar resting on your left leg, assuming of course you're playing right-handed. And you'll notice my position was slightly different from the previous clip within this video. There's my fret 7. You can see the dots are missing. But on the top of your guitar, you normally got little white dots over there as well. There's my fret number 7, for example, fret number 5. We need to rely on these dots to guide us. Now we're going to add in a 0, 3, 7. So if you take it from the top, it's 7, 7, 7, 7, 5, 3, 3, 2, open, open, 3, 7. And then after that, obviously the 12 in the next bar. But let's put it together slow motion, and I'd like you to play through with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and... And it's sounding pretty good so far. Also, if you spend a bit of time on YouTube, you'll notice different artists perform it at different speeds. So I'm just making this nice and rustic and relaxed and nice and dramatic, just to enjoy the chill factor for it. But play with it, listen to different interpretations, make the song your own. Now onto the last bar of the first line. Well, we did mention the electric guitar too, so why not do it on this, and you can hear the differences. We're going to play that whole top line and include the last 3 12s. Let's go. 1 and 2 and 3 and... And you'll notice every guitar has its own unique sound. From a purist point of view, again, nylon string is the way to go, but end of the day, with whatever you got, if you like what it sounds like, that's the guitar you're going to play it on. Now I'm going to go back to the acoustics, and we're going to go through step by step what happens on the second and third lines. Okay, up close again, back to acoustic, and we're looking at bars number 6 and 7, in other words the beginning of the second line. And I want you to watch my thumb that's busy twitching between string 6 and string 5. Watch what happens in bar 7. Here's bar 6. So looking at 12, 10, 8. And then watch what happens when I go to the next 8, 7, 5. Here we go. You'll notice my thumb went from the 6th string, from there. And then you got your riff down into here with the 5th string, and you can hear it nice and clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 1 can see over there the thumb changed strings. They're very important with that part. Now next up, we're looking at bar 9. Things are going to change a bit here. We're going to look at a double 7. Watch my thumb at the top. Now there's two ways. You can do it like this. You can do it like that, or you can bring your thumb to the top. But with that hustle of the thumb at the top, I battle to get that pinky to number 11, which is the beginning of the 10th bar. So I think it's going to be better to do something like this. Watch my finger movement. This is fret number 7. And now we're back to the 6th string for the bass note. Now watch my thumb creeping in there. And that's quite a nice little technique, because if I do this, if I go from here, I'll lose my bass note. Sorry about the one dead note, it's a demonstration. Okay, but I find if you get this bass note there, watch my thumb, I can keep this bass note on fret 7. So if I take from bar 9 into bar 10, I can get my 11th fret, my 8th fret, and my 5th fret with the thumb over here, while keeping my first finger on the top bass note. Check how cool this is going to work. Bit sneaky, but it's a nice technique as a suggestion if you want to do it. And from there the song gets easy. You're ending up with, that's bar 11 and 12. I'm not going to break that down, because by now you should be able to handle bar 11 and 12 by yourself. It's the same concept as the intro of the song. And then you're going to go to a B7th basic chord, which I'm going to show you now a bit more up close. Now normally B7 has got finger 1, fret number 1 in the 4th string, middle finger to 2nd fret, 3rd finger pinky. But you don't need this finger down, because you're not playing it anyway. So if you want to do your B7 like this, which is finger 1, 2 and 3, I'm quite cool with that 2, and it's going to be, and the picking pattern hasn't changed. So basically your picking hand, which is out of view right now, doesn't change. And watch bar number 14, watch my pinky kicking in here. And you finish off with, and that super slow motion is first of all open string, then you got the 2, and then 3, and open on the 16th bar. Now part 1 and part 2 are quite different in level. Okay, now I'm not going to do part 2 on this video, but just to give you a primer for the beginning of the next bar, this is your stretch. You're looking at finger 1 is going to be fret 1, and the pinky is going to be fret number 4, and you're really stretching here. And this is where the classical technique, I'm going to zoom out quickly. Let's call this our rock technique, if you want to call it. Classical, we switching leg, and that will help us to get that stretch a bit more up close there. But just quickly on it, technique over here again, and then with the picking pattern you're going to have and it goes on from there. So I'm not going to go into this part for this part of the study. Most of your friends will recognize Romance from the first part. That's probably the most popular part, because it's really nice and easy to play if it's introducing finger picking style. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. And if you need a copy of the PDF that we're working from, just drop me a message. You can WhatsApp me as well, or you can inbox me via email. And otherwise, have an awesome week. Take care. Cheers.